Hello everybody and welcome back to the dumbest modeling channel on all of YouTube, Pitstain Hobbies. I'm a clumsy oaf, I am. I kept snapping the little rear cannons off of this thing. This little plastic bastard right here. So I ended up deciding to just make them out of brass tubing. Very, very thin brass tubing. And for those rear cannons, I ended up going with 3/64th brass tubing and 1/16th brass tubing. Because on top of fixing them, I would get open barrels, which look so much better than the softly molded, blurry plastic teats that were sticking out the back of that thing. And while I was at it, I figured, well, now that just made all the front cannons look horrible. So I rebuilt all of the front laser barrels out of brass tubing. I used the same 3/64ths and 1/16th, and then a piece of 3/32nd right here. And then these fronts are just 1/16th and 3/32nd. And then, fluxed them and brazed them together with my soldering iron because I didn't have a torch handy and I wanted to create more work for myself. But I think they came out reasonably well. Doing this after the fact of gluing this ill-fitting hull together, I could have definitely put some fiber optics in there and lit some of these up, for sure. These would have been difficult, very. These would have been doable. These would have been doable. And I could have gotten some kind of random flash chip from our friends at Evan Designs. I keep saying Evans Designs. It's like calling it Kroger's supermarket instead of Kroger. Hindsight being 2020, the next time I build this, if I'm reincarnated as another slothingly lazy smartass modeler, I will do that on my next build sometime around the year 2075 after I'm dead and reborn. But that being said, I can't procrastinate much longer. I've done a bit of filling. There was a couple low spots on both cheeks of this of the cockpit area, which really wasn't too bad. This was the real pig's ear right here. Getting this, it might not even come up how bad it probably still looks on camera. This was the most ill-fitting joint outside of the Enterprise refit from round 2. Polo Lights will never sponsor this channel, I'm sure. But that being said, we're pretty much ready for base coat. I'm worried about this area here. You can't really see it on camera, so I don't know, maybe. Because these are like those little square panels that just shove in there for some it was just for some, lack of technology in the 80s. They had to put a sprue piece in there for the injection molding, so it is what it is. But I'm going to start covering this entire model in Tamiya XF, I'm treating it like a tank, XF69 NATO Black. Then I'm going to go in and selectively highlight the centers of panel areas with Tamiya XF2 flat white. Just like I do for the tank models for armor. This is the Rebel captured shuttle Tydirium. This is not Vader or Palpatine's shuttle. Their shuttles were a little dingy too. But the Rebel one was a little extra grimy and weathered, which is why I chose to build it, because I'm not good at building clean, beautiful looking things that I have to paint, because I'm not that type of modeler. It's, when you see someone sticking to armor kits mostly, you're like, yeah, he ain't that good of a painter. He's relying on weathering to hide the sins. And you would be correct. Weathering hides many sins. After we do that, though, I do have a very special set of paint on the way from New Type, which is the same place that I got this Archive X Reefer White. Apparently, this is not accurately, perfectly the correct color for this ship. It's supposed to be like a mix of Reefer White and concrete. So I ordered the whole set for the Imperial shuttle, and I'll take a little artistic license with it because I had to order some. I ordered some Boxcar Red for my Millennium Falcon, Bandai Perfect Grade. I'm going to build it some point in the future. We just keep piling up the projects in the queue and not getting them because part works keep coming in the door, sucking up a lot of my time. But we're still modelers here, and part works are models. Either way, I'm gonna start getting a coat of NATO black on this thing. I gotta cover everything here in plastic because I'm gonna like mount this guy on its little brass rod as like a painting stick, so I can get to all the nooks and crannies. And we'll see. So when I come back, at the very least, we will have our coat of NATO black and our highlight coat of white. But you've seen that a million times in my channel. Any model armor kit that I've built, I do the same paint job. So, we might come back and it might already be reefer white. I'm not sure. Once I get into like a frenzy of drinking beers and painting, I kind of forget to hit the record button sometimes, but it probably wouldn't be in my best interest for the YouTube censorship algorithm. So we'll be back in a little bit, which may be a long bit, but either way, you're going to see some cool progress on the shuttle Tydirium. I know it's an older code, but it still checks out, guys. What can I say? I'll be right back. Alrighty, well, we've got our Tamiya NATO black on here. It is not perfect. I don't know if I was spraying with the paint not thin enough or too high pressure, combination of the both. I do have a bit of a gritty finish. I'm going to knock it down a little with very gentle sanding of some sort. I don't want to actually take away any details, though. Also, light leaks. God, every time I think I've got them all, I don't. I had to go back and light block a little more, especially around here. That's a bad one. That joint down here should have been fixed with the final application of paint, but there's still a little bit of blue shining through the plastic because I've got a supernova glowing in the back of the ship. Hindsight being 2020, I would have built a wall of black styrene behind the lights. That would have been a perfect non-moron solution that I should have done. But again, we're watching the dumbest channel. And then up here, pay attention if you're building this thing. There's a big gap between this back of the nose section and the main fuselage. I honestly would take some, well, if you have it, black styrene, but any sheet styrene or strip styrene, and definitely cut a couple pieces to fill that void in, build up the back of the neck section, probably, and then test dry fit it and all that. Otherwise, I'm very happy with my cannons. I'm going to scuff this up, but I have tulip now. So here, the light blocking. Let me get to the point I wanted to make. Normally, this is my go-to, is tulip slick. I put it in one of these little syringy things and keep the cap on it, and it won't dry out and clop up on you. I also started recently using this stuff, basically CA glue with carbon and rubber or whatever. Yeah, the carbon and rubber. And this actually is really, really great light blocker as well. Pretty excellent, actually. And it glues things together. So especially, if you're gluing things together that are black, use the black CA. And also if you're gluing things where you might have a light leak, this is some good stuff to have. Either way, let me scuff this down and I don't really need to touch up the NATO black base coat because we're just going to paint over it anyway. But I do want it to be an even color and shade of black. I like that this isn't a blacky black. It's, it's NATO black. See, I don't know what I was doing last night. Probably had a few too many beers. But either way, we'll be right back with better looking black base coat and or some highlights on there. Be right back. Okie dokie. Look at what we got. We've got a base of Tamiya. Oh, god damn. This would be a blooper. No, the wife's texting me. We're planning a trip. She loves planning trips. That's her favorite thing in the world. But we do have our XF69 NATO black down as a base and some XF2 flat white. I hate spraying you more than anything for some reason. I don't know why. I got to find a different white to use, I think. Or just not thin it. I don't know. It seems like it's always too thin. But there we go. This is, it's going to Wonderfest, and it'll be on a post. So unlike a tank, I did the bottom as well. And we did our pre-shading, basically. I'm pretty much treating this like an armor kit. That's what, it works easier for my brain. And then I would go right over it with straight reefer white, but I found out it should be a 50-50 mix of Reefer White. This is the Archive X paint, by the way. It should be a 50-50 mix of Reefer White and concrete. Now my concrete supply will be, and I got this also for my Bandai Perfect Grade Millennium Falcon. The concrete is en route from newtype.us as the only seller of Archive X paint in the United States of America, which I'm not super happy about because I'm not in love with those guys. They're not horrible, they're not bad, they're not terrible people. I just, God, I've had enough. Yeah, Madworks airbrush exploding its nozzle on me. Thank you. That's all new type right there. But yeah, so we're gonna get that paint in the next day or two, and I can get back on this model. I'm gonna just leave the masking tape on everything. I mean, got the engines covered up. I got the cockpit covered up. I forgot to do a little white there, so I'll probably hit that real quick when I get my. Oh no! What are you doing? Ah! What is wrong with me? I can't stop breaking guns on this thing. All right. Well, that's why we have black crazy glue. Either way, I'm going to fix that little boo-boo, and we'll be back once we get our Reefer White, gray, concrete, whatever mix, and get her sprayed on. And I got to practice. I've never sprayed this Archive X stuff before, so I got to... I also ordered the thinner for it. So I got to figure out the thinner and do some Googling and test different pressures and nozzle sizes. You know, I'm probably going to blow this out, you know, my 0.5 nozzle Mr. Hobby brush, the 266, and we'll see. But yeah, that's where we're at now, and I will be back after crazy gluing back on yet another gun barrel, at least because it's brass, it didn't snap in half like the plastic ones. Well, be right back, everybody. Okay, here is the moment. This is full send. That's what we're doing. So we've got our Reefer White and our concrete, and I mixed them 2 to 1, give or take. A lot of things said 50-50. I want it to be a little lighter because I'm going to do a lot of weathering on this. And we've got our Archive X thinner. This is what really held up the works here. I just wanted to use their thinner. I don't know the paint. I've done some testing. You don't need a lot of thinner for this paint. It's not a 50-50, and depending on the color, it's all by eye and by feel. I'm going to throw it through a 0.5 needled Mr. Hobby GSI Craos PS266 Pro Comboy, and we are going to paint it in the new spray booth. There's an echo in there. It's so big. This is our Pace 36-inch Deluxe Peacekeeper that we just got. I did a review video, unboxing video on it. This thing is absolutely phenomenal, and it's very quiet. Very quiet. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna get our airbrush loaded up, and I'm gonna switch back the camera view. There we go. And we're gonna start painting. And I will be right back with the spray booth cam and some live action. BRB. Okay, here we go. Huzzah! Seems to be sputtering a bit. You know what? Let me turn up the air pressure a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit over 20 psi. I might not have thinned this out enough, but it's very easy to over thin this paint, so. And we want to do like light coats. A lot of light coats. Because we still want that natal black to show through. That's getting pretty nice. So I'm just going to keep rotating this thing around and getting paint on it, and I'll be back with the well, with the finished product after this coat is done. But yeah, it's this is probably going to take a lot of paint. Oh man. And we just layer down there. Let's hold a little further on the rod. Oh yeah. Okay, this is, I think I've got a good combo going here. Oh yeah. And the paste spray booth is just sucking all the stuff up. It's doing its job and sucking. Oh yeah. That's a nice subtle pre-shading. And a little bit of concrete in there really looks good. Oh, we gotta, I just keep painting. Okay. I guess we're doing this. Full send. I'm gonna get in a little trenches. That was probably the better idea to do that first, was to get in the trenches in the middle of the wing spars. Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna get some more. Whew. A little heavy holding that thing up with one hand, but we'll be right back. Okay, terrific. The Pace spray booth worked absolutely fantastically. It's got a lot of it's got a lot of white fallout right here, which we'll clean up very easily. We can use acetone or anything on there. But our shuttle Tydirium, now this is really getting blown out by the light, but you can still, it's more prevalent to the human eye that I still have some of my pre-shading showing through here and there. I did get a little bit of a spatter. See that little dot? Yeah, that's not great. But I'm going to sand that down gently. I'll take off the canopy. I left the engines masked for now because I got some black Uhu Patafix black tack putty in there. But she's looking pretty fine so far. And this is just the base. Then we got to do a whole bunch of weathering, and for that, I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to learn a couple new things. I got these dry brush paints. These are cool from Ammo. So I got those, and then I got a whole bunch of this stuff. Whoa, whole bunch of these Abitlung. I can't pronounce it. Someone can correct me, but I was watching a great modeler. The name escapes me at the moment of his YouTube channel, but I bought all of his things. This is mostly for the Perfect Grade Millennium Falcon, but we had Starship filth, and this was a filthy little girl. This was a dirty girl because the rebels captured it, and you know, it was a little nastier than your standard Imperial Lambda-class shuttle. So we're going to oil weather this as well, which will be fun. But that's for the next video, because I need to practice on something. And what I'll do is I'll probably just take some piece of my Refit Enterprise abortion kit and, oh God, I said the A word. I don't hope we can, yeah, we're demonetized now, but one beer, ha ha ha, 2 beers, ha ha ha, saying the A word, you're demonetized, ha ha, oh no. Either way, we'll be back in the next part with doing some, some panel painting, because a couple of these panels here, they got to be gray, something that's got to be gray, and we've got a couple of different grays in our Imperial Shuttle paint kit. We got Lark light gray and Lark dark gray, and some other things. I don't know why there's a bottle of Caboose Red in that box, but apparently something is It's got some caboose red in it. Either way, thank you for watching. I'm sorry this video took so long to come out. I started on it, and there was a bunch of stuff that went on starting in the middle of December, and my dad ended up in the hospital, and he's 85, and cancer, and appendicitis now, and a hernia, and holy crap. Like, it really just hit me all at once. It's awesome. Awesome how much bad shit happens at one time. But that too, we had to go on a little trip for my wife's job, and yeah, I was in the Bahamas at Paradise Island at a beautiful resort, and I really didn't enjoy a minute of it almost. But yeah, either way, this is how we de-stress, is by building models in the basement, ignoring life outside of all of our woes. So thank you for joining me. Click the links below to my Amazon store, the Buy Me a Coffee, if you want to chip in, because paint ain't free, and I honestly am a $38 heir a month on YouTube. And yeah. It's a negative-sum game so far. But if anyone wants to chip in, that'd be great. And thank you for coming. I'll see you next time on Pit Stain Hobbies. Adios, everybody.